I can assure you that there are journaling techniques and styles that you have never seen before in this video. And I can confidently say that because I've been journaling for over 10 years and there are new things in this video that I've never seen before. Hence the reason I'm doing this video, because I want to bring you along with me as I try out these new journaling styles that have come across my feed lately and investigate whether there's something that's worth integrating into my journaling routine or worth just leaving for the algorithm. Whether you're new to journaling or you're a journaling veteran, hopefully there's some good inspo in today's video for you. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin and I love making videos about the small ways we can make big changes in our life. I love talking about all things planners, routines, journaling, crafting, DIYing. We have fun here, so if you want to not miss out, hit the subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get into it. One of the biggest blockages that I think people have to journaling about their thoughts, getting really personal and getting detailed with their journal entries, is this fear of their entries being seen by someone else, the entries being read. And when I saw this cross-writing technique on a reel or a TikTok, I was like, oh my goodness, this could be the solution, but also this looks crazy. I personally don't have this concern because I live alone and I pretty much trust people in my life not to read these things. And I've had to force myself to also think of my journal entries not as recording history, but as helping me actively work through emotions. So I wouldn't say my entries are a reflection of really what's going on. Sometimes it's a release of thoughts I don't want to hold on to. Sometimes it's random gibberish. I don't know. It's not an authentic historical retelling because it's also one POV on a situation or my life. I want to try this technique out to see if you can actually read each entry individually, both the one that you're writing horizontally and the one that you're writing a little bit more vertical. My game plan is to use two different colors of pens so that I can better distinguish with my eyeballs the two separate entries. I'm going to start with my classic black and then the other one will be in blue. I think I'm going to use my pocket journal for a majority of these tests today just because it's a smaller size. So it won't take too long to figure out if these are techniques I can bring to larger journals. I'm not going to get too personal with this entry because I don't want you to be able to read it. I think I'm just going to write about my day. So there's my entry in black. Now we're going to switch pens and try a different direction. My first impressions is this actually looks so cool. I think a journal like this would be sick. Now let me try and read the black. This morning I woke up and made my coffee. Okay, now if I switch it over. For dinner tonight, I'm going to make homemade pizza with mushroom, zucchini, peppers, and black olives as toppings. That was a little bit hard to read. I made an olive oil cake. See, I feel like if I hadn't just written that, I wouldn't know what I wrote there. But that's also because my handwriting looks awful there. I have to try reading this a few days later and seeing if I can still read what I wrote. It's hard to tell if it's really legible because, like I said, I just wrote it. However, I do think the two different colors are helping, and even if I weren't able to read it perfectly back, I still feel like this could potentially be a really great idea for someone who wants to journal about their thoughts, but is getting stopped by that idea of someone can easily read my writing. And if you wanted it to be just something for you to pour into and you're not really worried about being able to access it at a later date, because like I said, sometimes journaling can be just for the moment. It doesn't have to be something that you're creating for a future you to even read. Then this would be an interesting way of doing that. You'd save paper as well. And if you did it in the same color, it'd be really hard, I think, to decipher between two different entries. I don't know. I'm very curious about this and intrigued, and I feel like it's something worth experimenting with more. I really like it. I can't believe this is the first time something like this had popped up on my feed, but I'm genuinely impressed, and I probably would recommend it to someone who's having this get in their way of their journaling practice. But I don't know, that also looks really cool. I think if you had a whole journal full of that, it'd be whoa, cryptic code. The other day I came across someone talking about a screenshot journal, which is a journal that they have for recording context behind their screenshots on their phone. I think a lot of us, I know I personally do, have tons of screenshots. I think they're in the 11,000 range when I last checked. I personally am always screenshotting things for a reminder to act as a sticky note for a future me, whether it's something I came across on the internet, an idea, a book that I want to read, sometimes just random stuff. There's no rhyme or reason to every screenshot. I will admit, I think there's a lot of screenshots I do that get lost in my camera roll that never end up having anything done with it. I mean, sometimes I will archive it to my notes through my second brain process, and that way I'll keep track of things there. But I was very intrigued by this idea of taking your screenshots into a physical journal and using this to kind of highlight things that you don't want to lose track of. So to test it out, I went through my screenshots and took a few that I want to put in my journal. What's great about doing this in a pocket-sized journal is that although you're using printer paper and ink, which can get pricey if you're printing things all the time, you can make these screenshots pretty small. So I got 4 on this round, but I could have done 15 on one page, maybe 20 if you're going small enough. So let's just do a couple here. And the key here is when you paste something in, add some notes about it. If you're wondering, Caitlin, do you have an image of a porch goose that you're pasting into your screenshots journal? Yeah, I do. This is a phenomenon that has really intrigued me. People have porch geese and then they dress them up according to different seasons or holidays. You know how on some furniture websites you can use your camera to actually see what a piece of furniture would look like in the space? Well, I tested out this couch and it is comedically large. I thought it'd fit perfectly. It's way too big. But I think the color going for something cream might be interesting, so that's why I put it in here. My instinct when I first saw this idea was I thought it might be a bit silly to do because, you know, who has time to print every time they want to document a screenshot. But I actually think if this is something that you're doing monthly as like a spread entry, that could be a fun little way to reflect on the month and look back on the things that you were consuming and the things that were inspiring you or resonating or clicking. So I quite enjoy this, and I feel like it's a way to like junk journal, but have it be a little bit more intentional. If you wanted to have a screenshot journal though, that doesn't require you to print things out, I feel like Apple's built-in journal app is perfect for this because you can pull things, photos from your camera roll into the Journals app, and then you can add like your commentary or a voice note or like next plans of action there, and you can go to that screenshot journal, digital journal, whenever you're wanting some inspiration. It's like your own little Pinterest feed. I like that idea too. If you want to apply this into a digital way, keep your screenshots, your digital screenshots in a digital format. But this is a really cool way to bridge analog and digital. Your phone and your journal are working together to provide you with value, which I think is really cool. This is a great idea. As a journal lover, it's only natural that I see a lot of journal spreads on my feeds, and one of my favorite ones to find are interactive journal spreads. What is an interactive journal spread? It's essentially something that you can, wait for it, yep, interact with. Think of being able to open flaps, tie strings together, elements that take the spread beyond what you first see when you open it, and there's actually like stuff to play with. So I love the idea. I don't do much of it in my journaling, especially these days, but I want to try today, and I specifically want to try out the pulling things in and out kind of interactive journal spread. First one I want to do is on this side. Let me mark my page here. My goal is to hide this Receiptify little pullout in this page. This is another thing that I saw in a video, and essentially what Receiptify is a website that turns your Spotify playlist, the tracks that you've been listening to lately or the artists that you've been listening to lately, into this cool receipt that you can download and then print out and put in your junk journal, your regular journal, wherever you want to use it. So I think this would make a really cool pullout. First thing I'm going to do is figure out where I want it to pull out. So I think doing something on the upper part of the page makes the most sense. Now I've got my board. It needs to be the same measurement as the receipts. We will cut my line out. Wow, okay. So now the only thing I need to do is glue this in. So I need to glue all the edges. Okay. It's so cute. And on this side, I kind of want to do an opening flap. Now, all I need for that to happen is to create a fold. So let's see here. I need it to fold this way. My little fold. We will add a sticker. So there you have it, my interactive spreads. We've got my little flap for me to write favorite reads of 2026 so far, right? We still got quite a bit to go. This one, which is by far my favorite, which is the pull in, pull out. I just feel like I need to have something that kind of keeps it closed when it's not open, because the page lifting up is a bothersome for me. That one I would definitely do again. This one needs some work, but such a creative way to like hide elements in your journal and make them fun for a future you to flip through. Sometimes there are journal spreads that you just make every now and then, and there are others that you make all the time, and it can sometimes be annoying to make the same boxes or lists or columns every single time that you want to do that spread. So this creator said that one of the things that they like to do is actually make templates. So I cut out 2 pages from my little pocket journal, and I'm gonna try and create a little journal spread template from it. I'm gonna start by marking where I want my template boxes to be. I've got my rough template, and I'm gonna go laminate these, and we'll come back. I've got my template laminated. Now I just need to cut it out. Then I'm gonna use an X-Acto knife to cut out my boxes. Are there any spreads that you tend to do the same layout for? I feel like a weekly spread when I was bullet journaling was a common one. I always liked a vertical layout. I just realized that I only need one of these because it's the exact same spread. I don't know why I thought I needed 2. If I was doing a different configuration on the second page, then I would need 2. I imagine this being really useful for my reading spread. So for the month of August, all I would have to do is line up my page, my template, get my marker out. Ta-da! Boxes. The key is obviously keeping the template in place. Do I see myself using a journaling template like this a lot? Probably not, because I don't get really particular about spacing or straight lines. Like, there are many times you guys have seen me just freehand things, and yeah, there's sometimes not straight lines going on and mismatched sized boxes and all the things. I think they add quirks to the spreads, but I can see value in this for, yeah, like something like a vertical layout. I remember when I was bullet journaling, I always hated having to count everything out. So that would like work really nicely. I think for columns and boxes, that makes a lot of sense. If you have a laminator already, probably worth trying. If you don't, wouldn't go out and buy a laminator just for this task. You could try doing your template with hard cardstock paper instead, because then that would help give you some stability as well. The whole concept of this video of trying new journaling techniques was definitely inspired by a video that I had seen by Peter McKinnon recently, where he met up with a friend of his who journals every 15 minutes of his day. So every 15 minutes of the last few years of his life have been accounted for. That kind of blew my mind because I've never kept track of my time with that amount of specificity. I think the times where I have the most logged about how I spent my day is when I've just been consistent with my planners or my calendars, and I've like just been very intentional about putting down everything, not only that I'm gonna do, but things that I did do. During student life, I think I was really good at this, but I'm kind of blown away by the concept. And what Peter McKinnon's friend had mentioned in that video is that he does this because then he can see and analyze how to optimize his day. He can see where he's spending time, where he's wasting time, where he would make changes. And I think that's kind of cool, but also a little crazy. I don't know. I feel like 15 minutes is a lot to account for. Now, from my understanding, it's not like he's writing an entry every 15 minutes, you know, maybe every hour or so. Whenever he's got a free moment, he's going and making notes of what he did in the last 15-minute segments that he hasn't filled in. That makes a lot more sense to me, but I kind of want to give it a go for one day and see if maybe I'm not giving it a fair shot in my mind, and maybe this could actually be a game changer. So I'm just kind of creating a little template here. 6:15, 6:30, 8:30, 8:45. 9. I've pre-done all my slots, and we're gonna see what discoveries I make. I did end up doing the challenge, and how I filled in every 15 minutes wasn't actually every 15 minutes. I kind of visited my journal every couple hours or so and filled it in. It is pretty cool to see how my whole day went to this kind of detail yesterday. Even just from a memory perspective, I feel like there are little moments that I would have naturally just forgotten about, and this kind of just sparks in my memory. Oh yeah, I did this. I did a little Marshall's visit. I did an extra long workout yesterday. I edited a brand video in the morning and then pivoted to more creative fun editing in the afternoon. So it's cool to have this level of detail. I don't think this is something I would ever be able to consistently stick with, but it's still kind of neat and something that you could maybe consider incorporating if you're really trying to pinpoint what are the periods of your day where maybe you're not spending your time how you ideally would like to be. That's one of the beautiful things about tracking anything, is that you can find patterns the more you do it. But imagine having a whole decade's worth of timestamps like this. That would be pretty neat to know, like on January 7th at 11 o'clock, what were you doing? Not going to be me though. but glad I tried it. I love the fact that doing this video kind of just pushed me to try out some new journaling techniques I never had before. Lots of new things that I think I'm going to be integrating into my current journaling routine, like those interactive spreads, like cross writing. We might be playing around with that. My curiosities are alive with it, but I'm curious to know about your thoughts. Which of these techniques I showed today intrigue you most? Would you actually see yourself applying to your own journaling routine? Like the video if you enjoyed it, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all soon with a new one. Until then, bye guys.